I have a question for myself.
What are you doing here?
You know, how many of you have been to the Shanghai Expo? Two.
Less
Okay.
than the ones already gone to the Milano.
Yes. So the idea is, who is going to the expos? Very few people. Why? Because Expo is growing. Expo is changing. Expo is becoming something which in future will be compulsory to see. Up to date, before going to Shanghai, I never been to an expo. And I was not going to Shanghai too. I was just passing to have my birthday with my family. I've been in China many times. My family is a tour operator. My father built the biggest tour operator in the high position in Italy. And so I was traveling all my life. I was going around the world when I was 11, 12, 14, escorting groups. So I've been almost everywhere. But I've never been to an expo before Shanghai. Now, why I went to Shanghai? First of all, I went for my birthday the year before. Then I saw what was happening in China. You know, China for many years, in our mind, was the place where to buy cheap labor, where to build all those things that you find on the market less than $1, where to go and see poor people in the rural areas. But when I went for my birthday, 2009, I have one birthday every 6 years. So next one is now in 2015. So I went there and I discovered that this China, which I was seeing before for my groups, was totally changed. A big thing was happening there, a total change. China was not going to be anymore a place for cheap labor. It's going to be a place for luxury goods. The Chinese were becoming rich. They were in a big economy growing. Everybody was looking for money. Money was the idea in the mind of all these million Chinese. And suddenly, because it's a huge area, almost 1,200,000,000 people, 100 million rich people went to the market. So I started to calculate how many rich Americans we need to save Italy. Much less. You know, when I was a kid, I was thinking, why Italy is so popular between the Americans? Why all these Americans, they come to Florence, they come to Rome, they come to Venice? Because they like us. They like to spend their money in our place. They like our lifestyle. They like who we are, the way we think, the way we dress, the way we eat. So I'm sure the Americans are also going only somewhere else. The Caribbean is a fantastic area, Hawaii, and also the local market is fantastic. But before, let's say, all these troubles around the world with foreign attacks or terrorists or things like that, we had so many Americans. Florence was surviving with the American tourists. Okay? Then suddenly, the Americans were not coming anymore. Shock. What's happened? Okay, we tried to sell them the the Fountain of Trevi, but that was once. We apologized. Okay, we tried to make love with all the most beautiful American ladies who were coming. That was 2 times. We apologize. We don't do it anymore. But why are you not coming back? So this question went inside the mind of a lot of mayors, Florence in particular, because Florence became a very beautiful city still, but with cheap tourism when the American went away. So let's excuse that the dollar was not so strong, the euro was too strong, the American was busy doing other things, and suddenly the Chinese were starting to travel. So people thought, oh, let's change the American with the Chinese, okay? And so everybody went to China to look for these rich Chinese. Come, come, come. Do you speak English? No. Okay. Ni hao, ni hao. And we did this for a few years. So we went to Shanghai. We saw this incredible economy growing. And most of all, the Chinese did something which I would say they saved the expo. The expo was not going so well. The previous expo was not so successful. It was becoming like a big fair. No, some people were passing around the expo, were going there, some not. The numbers were never guaranteed, and so what Shanghai did, what the Chinese did, they created the new last expo. Why I say the new last expo? Because it was the last of that kind. The expo for many times was like a fair, and the Chinese did the biggest ever. And they did it for the internal market because they wanted to show the world to the Chinese. So the majority of the Chinese who was coming to the expo were going to see Italy for the first time in the pavilion. They were going to see Austria. They were going to have the opportunity to meet Germany, Switzerland, and many other countries. You know, Chinese need visas to come to Europe. And for a long time, it was not so easy to issue this visa. Nowadays, we succeeded to increase to reduce the time for the visa, and so Italy is now one of the most visited country regarding Europe. We have an increase of 60% in visas issued only this year due to the expo. Now, Shanghai was the last big, huge expo. 70 million Chinese went to see it. After that, there was this country, Italy. You know, we're a small country, very beautiful, I guarantee, very beautiful. I would say one of the best countries in the world. We have the majority of the monuments. I think we took them before, and they're all there. So we have 79% of the art